Welcome back to the It's Only Kids Football podcast. Today, we aren't just talking about a grassroots club, we're talking about an institution. Joining us is Colin Windrow, the club manager at MSB Woolton based in Liverpool. To give you some perspective on the scale of his weekend, they manage over 230 teams, support 2,400 plus players and rely on an army of 400 volunteers. They are officially the biggest grassroots club in England. So if you are a grassroots coach, this episode is your masterclass. You'll learn the secrets to developing talent without losing the fun, the logistics of managing a club, and how to create a community environment. As always, joining me to get all the answers is my co-host and assistant manager, Mike Clark. But Colin, it's a pleasure to have you on. How are you doing, mate?
All good. Cheers, Ben. So first and foremost, I'd just like to say thanks very much for inviting me down to obviously talk about my passion, which is grassroots football.
MSB Walton is the big club in Liverpool. And given that you've had you've got this huge club with so many people involved, I just wondered, not that it matters, that's not what grassroots is about, but I just wondered, have any pro players that have gone on to make it pro? I know you must have had a ton of people that have played at the academies and whatnot. I'm sure you feed loads of players into that, but any pro players played in your ranks?
Yeah, Perry NG plays for Cardiff. He's gone on to play pro. He was at Woolton. There is a little story which I'm not old in this because Trent Alexander-Arnold played for Woolton for about 20 minutes, I think. This is the rumor. Now I'm not putting this. I've been part of Woolton with a load of volunteers, a load of colleagues, a load of friends for about 20 odd years, and they all say he's gone through and Trent's gone through, but Perry NG is probably the main one. We have a girl at the moment who is the youngest WSL scorer in the history of the league, which is Izzy Hobson. Now Izzy plays for Everton now. I think she's on loan somewhere in Norway or something like that. I'm not too sure. Now I brought Izzy into Everton when she was about 4 or 5 years old, and she played. Izzy was just unique. Izzy played with the boys grassroots till she was about 14, 15, under my good friend Steve Andrews, with their team called MSB Walton Leverkusen. Because each year we have a different theme. Because we've got so many teams, we have themes. Like, so we have a German theme, we have an Italian theme. Like this year, I've got a Legends theme, which I've got MSB Walton Messi, MSB Walton Pele, MSB Walton Zidane, stuff like that. So we've got
MSB Walton Arteta.
Yeah.
You know what? To listen, it could be. Well, he is. He's a legend in his own lifetime, isn't he? But I think the kids picked him, and it's strange. We had it a few years ago. Someone picked MSB Walton Di Stefano, and I went, "Where'd you get that?" I said, "Where'd you get that from?" But it's good then that you listen and the kids go and learn, and they learn who Di Stefano is and stuff like that. So it's good. So. Back to your question, probably Izzy Hobson's probably the main one. I say Perry NG, and with me connection with Everton, which I've been working for Everton as a casual coach, as a casual staff, or scout for about 17 years. There's so many kids that go through the system, but as you guys know, to make that professional football in Cat 1, Cat 2, Cat 3 is so unique, and there's so many people playing football. There's so many times that I can go, my lad's brilliant, Cole. My lad's, look at this, look at it. And say, yeah, by all means, but play with your mates. That's what grassroots football, that's what Woolton Football Club is. Play with your mates. Something happens, great. If it doesn't, such is life.
I've just got to ask you, club manager, what does that mean? What does that entail? What's your day to day? Is this a full-time gig for you?
Yeah, it is. Very fortunate to work for something that I love, for the club that I love. I can tell you the background. You want me to go through the actual trials and tribulations of what happens. So about, 20 odd years ago, we started in a place called Camp Hill. Me and a guy called Paul Foley, a good friend of mine. We started as everyone else. Dad, bring your kids up to a piece of grass. What's going on? I'll do against the footy. And because he had a pair of tracksuit bottoms on, well, we call them trackies up here. So we had a pair of trackies on, and some lad called Kenny Saunders went, do us a favour, look after this team for 5 minutes for us. I went, oh, okay. This is the pre-DBS, pre-everything days and stuff like that. Look after that for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. 24 years later, I'm running teams. I've run that many teams. I'm privileged enough to work for Everton Football Club, privileged enough to work for Woolton, integrated with so many influential people, professionals, everything. It's sort of like a dream come true. Well, I have got a backstory of this. The actual, while working at British Airways and doing nights and splitting, trying to get shifts, because every coach in the land will, what's name this, if you do shifts or you work 9 to 5, your boss going to get off at 4:20 so I can set up the pitch for my team. I run the team and stuff like that, and trying to do a night shift so you can do the Saturday mornings to do the training and get the matches. And I was volunteering. So I was doing that. I was doing me 12-hour shift of a night and then doing 4 or 5 hours, 6, 7 hours a day doing Woolton, because it's something I love. Like, we all love football. And then someone said to me, he said, well, why don't you do this full time? My sort of colleague, my friend Dave Woods, said, would you like to do this full time? We had a little school in South Liverpool called Dovedale Primary School. We had one class for about 20 kids. And he said, would you jump in, Col? So I was doing that, work and all that. And the wife was going mad. And I was going, you never see me. You're always out and all that. I said, there's a reason, though. I love my wife to death, you know. And she went, well, and then Dave went, well, do you want to do this full time? So I went, so go on, I'll have a go. And my old mate, who still does it with me now, a guy called Chris Leahy, he said, be careful what you wish for. And I went, I don't know what you mean. It's football, don't know. But you know what? Never a true word is said. He's right. This Grassroots, as everyone will tell you, is 24/7. You don't switch off. You don't switch off as a parent. You don't switch off as a coach. And then when it goes bad, it's only kids football. But when it means something, it's everything. It's everything. It's more than, no disrespect to cricket, no disrespect to basketball, any other sport. Football is a lifeblood and it's a life skill. We're not teaching these kids to play football. We're teaching these kids to enjoy playing football with their peers and going on to be good citizens of the community, and hopefully someone take over my job one day.
That's amazing. But how do you go from, you know, putting your hand up, you've got the tracky bottoms, you've passed the DBS check, and now you've got the biggest grassroots club in Europe, or especially in the UK, right?
Well, yeah, we say Europe. Your opening statement's slightly incorrect. As I say, we got under the FA, we got 251 teams down, with just over 3,000 children, adults, girls, boys, everyone playing. How do we go? I'd probably say community. I'd probably say the 440 volunteers, the 23 staff on the committee, and an open mind to my journey was, I went to sort of, they hate me saying this, I went to the dark side called Mossley Hill for a year. And with every grassroots coach, parent, what do you want to do? You want to win, don't you? You want to win the league, and you think you're Jose Mourinho or Ron Atkinson in my day or whatever it is. And then you think, right. And I went, what am I doing? I just want kids to play footy. So I come back to Woolton, set up with Kenny, Dave, as I say, this whole committee member. It's not just one person. If you're running it as a one-man band, it fails. Our community we opened our door to every child matters. Everyone from reception to year 1 to year 2 to year 3 at the time. We put it out there, anyone can get in the team, anyone, and floods of people come. I think what changed for us was we opened up our own internal league. So we were sick of teams going out for a year in external leagues and then getting battered all the time, and then thinking, right, okay, and then kids not finishing football when they're 8 or 9, going, I don't like this, that's it, and then they're going on to something else. So we decided to run an internal league for under 6, 7s and 8s. It wasn't usually under 6 then, because obviously with the legislation of the FA. So it was a training game, so we say 6, 7s and 8s. And we had from 20 teams, 30, 40, 50, 60 odd teams doing internally. And that both on a Sunday over at Camp Hill educated both the players, to make mistakes, because it was no game, there was no leagues, it was just fun. It was free as well, which the club funded it, which they still do to now today. And for 2 years, they made mistakes. The coaches made mistakes. The parents made mistakes. But we sort of educated them to go, you know what? When you go into external leagues, this is how you should conduct yourselves. Yeah, I don't mind you getting yellow cards, red cards for tackles and stuff like that, but keep your mouth shut. You know, respect, be humble, respect the referee, respect the other coach, respect the environment. And a lot of parents cottoned onto that and said, you know what, this is how it should be. And don't get me wrong, we get it wrong. We get it wrong sometimes, but majority we try and get things right. And as I say, I'm privileged enough to talk to you guys to say this is what we done. It's never I. As I say, the whole factor of how we do things is correct. That's why I think we've been classed as the flagship cup for the FA. Our home, which I'll talk about in a moment, which you can see in the background, which is Simpsons, which we're very privileged to play on the state-of-the-art 3G pitches. And that goes on to bringing our first team into the first ever semi-professional as well.
No, it's amazing. I mean, I just kind of think of all those, like we talk about what football does for kids in terms of not just necessarily like learning to play a sport, but it's all the life stuff that you learn, like how to play in a team, how to lose, how to communicate with people, the friendships you build, the kind of the etiquette in the dressing room, taking the mick out of each other. Can you take that? Can you dish it out to someone else? All that stuff. Not to forget the health benefits. If someone plays football their whole life, they stay fit and healthy. And I just think of what you're talking about and how that affects so many people, and all the friendships, parents and kids, that are built from a football club. Obviously, it could be any sport. We're talking specifically about football, but I always think about, I mean, the reason, we love it so much, and we had such great experiences as children ourselves, that was why I wanted my son to do it. And my dad told me that he got me into football because he knew it. We moved from London to Essex when I was young. And he said that he knew that if you got in a football team, it was an instant group of friends and that you know everyone. And then because obviously me and Mike do this, we're involved with probably the biggest club around our area in Essex, not the whole of Essex, but in our sort of specific corner of Essex. And then all the clubs and training they do each week, the amount of boys they know is crazy. They turn up somewhere and they go, oh, I know that kid, I know that kid, I know that kid. How do you know him? How do you remember his name? Oh, I played against him. Oh, he does this group, he does that. And I just think to myself, that is absolutely fantastic and amazing, because all the social skills in a time, by the way, where we're talking about boys especially isolating themselves at home, being on screens, playing video games, etc. I want my son to be out playing football as much as possible and making as many friends as possible. When I think about the size of your club and what it does, I just think about what that ripple effect is. Incredible.
Ben, as you just said, then it's probably invaluable what we try and do. Now, a couple of stories I've got. Again, the reason why we set this up, it's not through football, it's just through, as you said, social interaction and stuff like that, because of the modern day with the mental health and stuff like that. Primary school, for example, reception to year 6, football. So many people, so many parents have come to me and all that and go, Colin, you set this up. The tangible thing as being a kid like me back in the 70s, going from primary school to secondary school, is the most daunting thing in the world. You're like that. You've got year 6, you're the big boy or the big girl, and then you go into year 7 with the long blazer, doesn't fit you. Your man going, right, that'll fit you for 4 years. There you go, shut up. And you go in the first day like something like a little Oompa Loompa out of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and you look at these big schools going, whoa, and the first thing you see, oh my God, my mate's going there because he plays for him, or do you play footy for that, and all that. And that first day of any child could set them up for life. And I mean, that sounds really tangible and stuff like that. But if you get a mate on the first day of that secondary school and you're comfortable, you're set. Because if you don't, you're up against it all the time. And I've heard so many horror stories going, he's secluded, he's on his own, he's a lonely boy, he's a lonely girl. I said, no, he's not. He just needs that communication, just needs that interaction. And football is a great level for that. And if anything can do in this, once I leave this, I'll probably never leave grassroots football, but that'll probably leave me. But if I ever, and when I do pass this on and stuff like that, and when someone else, all different committee members do it, the one thing that gets to me, that'll keep me saying, I met a couple of lads in a pub, because I'm always in the pub, because you're always knackered on, you always go for a pint. And then they're like, oh, Colin, you're all right? All right, yeah. Sounds all right. What's the name from Woolton, Wasps or Dynamo or whatever the thousands of names that we got. Do you know what? And they're still mates. They're still mates, as you said before. It's interaction. And it's getting them off that PlayStation or I think in my day it was called an Atari, you know, but don't get me wrong, there's a place for it. There is a place for it, but getting out there, getting your new boots on, saying that, these new boots are absolutely ridiculous money now. So we have
they don't last either.
Oh, mate, the crap. So I've still got my Coppers and I've still got my Puma Kings. But we have a boot exchange over at Camp Hill. I keep pointing to Camp Hill because I can see it. It's over there and you haven't got a clue because it's there. So we have a boot exchange. So young kids, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The boots last 6 or 7 weeks because of what? Because the feet grow. So they come in, we clean them up, and they just boot exchange it, and it saves the parents hundreds, and I mean hundreds of pounds, and everyone should do it. I've got a guy called Jay Brittles who works at a company called LLS, fantastic company, partnership with Walton. He does a running club, and he does exactly the same, you know, because some of these trainees, they're like 200 odd quid, you know, and thinking, God's sake, you know, and again, it's if parents can save 50, 60, 70 quid on a pair of trainees, they can actually go to the pub more, can't they? I want to mess with
Colin, I bet you can't. Colin, when you walk down the street, can you walk around where you walk around without seeing? I bet every 10 yards you know someone, don't you?
I've got to go that because I honestly, God, this is weird because I'm an old man now, I'm 56. So I go in and every time I go to shops and stuff like that, I feel like I'm ignoring people. So I've got my head, I think I've got Tourette's. I'm thinking like, you know what, are you all right? You're all right. I'm thinking, honestly, because I feel ignorant if I don't, you know, and the club, I'm very fortunate. The club have given me, I've been after a van for years. Now, our friends of Vasey, obviously Lee, I've known Lee for about, 10, 15 years now, I think, from right from the start. I keep saying I need a van when it first started, and then they got me a van, and it's probably the best thing I've ever got because I've got a big MSB Woolton badge on and I'm driving down the road. I think I'm doing something wrong, and you can't have no road rage either, can you? Because you think, God, you're in a Woolton van, you know, hi, you're all right. So I feel like Scooby Doo, you know, Scrappy Doo, and I'll driving down the road and all this in the Mean Machine. So it's enlightening. It's good. But I love my holidays because I can get away, and I can see no one. But here's sorry, I apologise. Dead quick story. During COVID, just after COVID, you can only go to the UK. So I always go away with a few friends, me and Lydia and the kids and all that. So we ended up going to the far end of Scotland, and I was walking down Loch Lomond, gorgeous day and stuff like that, and all you hear was Colin. I went, hang on, we're in the middle of Loch Lomond. We're in the other side on the water, no one's there. And someone shouted, Colin, it was one of my coaches. And I'm going, oh, God, you're all right. You know, and you know, you loved them, but just choose a favour for 2 weeks, just leave me alone.
I bet your wife loves that.
Oh, she does. No, she doesn't. No. You know what? You got to be big up to her. As I say, a lot of people see the faces, you see the mums, you see the dads who are taking teams and stuff like that. There's more women involved now, which is amazing. But what goes on behind the scenes when you're doing all the kids' footy and stuff like that, and you come in, and then the wife or the husband has made the tea or made the breakfast and stuff like that, and then you can just see the face. You come in, you take your boots off, and she goes, I've just washed that floor. and you got mud, or nowadays you've got
Yeah, the
rubber
little black bits.
Yeah,
the little
they're
black bits
so
on.
annoying.
She looks at you going, "I'm going to knock you out." I've just spent 2 hours clean this floor. Get your crown and God and all that, and it get everywhere. So yeah, as you can see, I'm at Simpsons now. You'll see that there's the rubber crumb. It gets everywhere. But again, we love it, don't we?
Quick break. Before we dive back into the episode, we want to take a moment to help you level up your coaching game with the help of Football DNA, the ultimate coaching platform that's been a game changer for us. What do we love about it? It's super easy to use, saves us loads of time, and best of all, it doesn't just show you how to set up a practice, it teaches you how to coach it properly. And that's the key. The sessions are put together by top level coaches. We're talking first team staff at clubs like Celtic, Crystal Palace, and West Ham. Proper pedigree. You get videos, diagrams, full explanations, downloadable PDFs, and if you need it, a full 36-week training plan tailored to the age group you are coaching. Our lads have loved the sessions. It's made our lives easier, improved our coaching, and taught us loads. Now we genuinely look forward to training and developing our players. Check it out at footballdna.co.uk. That's footballdna.co.uk, or you can download the app. Just search Football DNA. Trust us now and you'll thank us later.
I'm glad you mentioned female coaches though, Colin, because we've tried to get lots of different female coaches on here actually, and we want to really talk more about getting women into football, getting little girls into football, and progressing there, because it's growing significantly. But you being the biggest grassroots club, have you seen more female coaches come through? Have you seen more girls get into football? And do you do anything to promote that?
Oh, massively. So we work with our local FA, Liverpool County FA. Work closely with a girl called Ellie Fox. Obviously, the CEO of the FA, our FA, Tony Smith, is a massive advocate of women's football. Now, women's and girls. Now, I don't like to differentiate. This might be a bit controversial, but I think football's just football. I don't care if you're blue, black, purple, orange, if you're a woman, if you're a boy, if you're a girl, if you're a man, not interested. I said anyone, it's open. Football should be open to everyone. We have a dedicated girl section on a Friday, if you want to say. A guy called Kev Sheehan and Chris Leahy run that. Girls who don't want to get into teams, who just want to play football. Now, I said before, our internal league is not just for boys, it's boys and girls. We have anyone involved with MSB Woolton can play. And it's getting that over the first step. It's like if you told me before, Ben, about your son is his son. Ben, so you're talking about your son, that first step of getting over that line. Everyone's nervous. You're nervous as a dad, you're nervous as a mum. And I get loads of emails going, I am really sorry to bother you. How do I get into biggest words in football? How do I get into what do I need to do and stuff? And our job as Bolton Football Club, MSB Walton Football Club, is getting them over that line. The second they're over that line, it's the face. It's the face of me. It's the face of Chris Leahy. It's the face of Kev Sheehan. It's the face of all these volunteer coaches who want to introduce people to our way. Now, it could be like when you first walk into, I don't know, when you go on a holiday, when you walk into that hotel and you see that smiling face, you think it's going to be a good 2 weeks. If you don't see that smiling face, you think, oh God, here we go. Here's that Miguel from Spain again. He's a pain in the backside. This is going to be terrible. Our room's going to be awful and all that. It's that perception. If you give that perception, no, this is it. This is what you do. How much do you pay and all that and all that. No, this is it. This is what you do. Just let the kid play footy. We'll talk about everything later. That's it. And we believe we're doing things right. As I say, Saturday morning for the babies, Friday night for the girls. It's a pathway. And that pathway starts with under 4, under 5. And then we try and introduce a year 1 to year 6 of kids who are coming to football late. That's the hardship. Doesn't matter if you're a girl or a boy. I'm finding it more difficult now. If you're not in a team by the time you're 7, you're struggling to get into a team. As I say, with us, for example, our under under sevens this year. We've got 21 teams at just under sevens.
Wow.
And every one of them's full. Now, people say, oh, grassroots football is not the same now. The old dog and duck and the old what's name had one team. It's not the same. There's too much protocol. There's too much red tape. Totally disagree. Disagree wholeheartedly because it's structured. Everything's on the club portal, which took a bit of time to get used to with the old whole game system. That's at it all. The FA need to realise as well that we're at the forefront of this. Now, I'm pro FA, but I'm also anti FA for certain things. But again, I'm not going to go into this because I get myself into trouble. It's about bringing people together and giving them a platform to do stuff. Parents just want to be parents. Some parents are itching to be coaches. Now, great. I'm a football coach, as I say, work for Everton Football Club. I'm a coach, very privileged. And some of these parents just want to be parents, but be a coach as well, you know. And that term, coach, manager, it gives them a sense of a release from maybe the worst job in the world, but they do it because they've got to do it because the family and stuff like that. They come with their little boy or the little girl, and it opens them up. I've seen it so many times that the lightness on their faces, wow. But then when they get into little bits of trouble with grassroots football, which we all do, trouble with the parents, trouble with the kids not listening and stuff like that. But I always go back to the saying and say, listen, your grassroots journey is a 10-year cycle from say 6 to 16, 7 to 17. As a family, you're going to fall out with your family, but it's always your family. You're always going to come back. You always find a solution. You always find communication is everything. You know, so don't get me wrong. I probably had an argument with my wife this morning over something, not feeding the dogs or whatever it is.
Those little black bits being all over the floor.
That little black bits, yeah. But again, you go back. Hi, you love you, all right, yeah. Let's talk it through, you know. And that's what grassroots team. We are like a franchise. We're like a McDonald's, I suppose. Every team underneath us is a little franchise themselves, and they do their own little thing. But we've got a level of platform that we as a club want our coaches, want our teams to adhere to. And if they fall below that, we don't say, right, use it out of here, see you later. Listen, we'll have a chat about it. And that takes up our time. We have meetings with teams, discipline meetings all the time and stuff like that. Positive meetings as well as negative meetings. But the fundamental thing is getting that, as you said, right from the start, it's a life skill, getting that child to play football, play with his peers, to go onto society, and buy me a pint in the pub. That's what I want.
Do you know what, Colin? I don't know what you think, Ben, but hearing it spelled out about a 10-year cycle is depressing because we're like 3 years into ours. It feels like we're coming to an end. I don't want it to stop, Colin. I might have to do what you do and just carry on for 20 years. But
you don't. You find another kid. You don't. This is the fundamental thing about grassroots footy is you do it for 10 years. And my job when the under 16s, under 17s is grab that coach back and say, do us a favour, help out with the babies. And they take another team and there's another 10 years and they just keep going. But once your lad finishes footy or you get or your daughter finishes footy, you go, right, okay. And you go, I can't stand this. But then the second you don't do it, you don't half miss it. And our job, my job, Chris Leahy's job, Dave Woods' job, Phil Wasley, go on, of all the volunteers. You want them back because their experience, their knowledge is invaluable, absolutely invaluable. You tell me, you know, if you'd done a job for 10 years and if you didn't get promoted in work, what would you do? You'd leave, wouldn't you? No one leaves grassroots footy. Nobody.
Well,
So
the thing that does make some people leave grassroots football, Colin, is the parents and dealing with them. Now, with all your experience, and I don't want any diplomacy ever, I want you to give it to me straight, right? You've been doing this a long time. You've dealt with every kind of parent imaginable, and every grassroots coach always talks about the parents. Now, we've said it many times on our podcast. We've been super lucky because our parents have been great. but we get loads and loads of messages about parents that are difficult for all differing kinds of reasons. Shouting out too much, confusing the kid, contradicting the coach's instructions, saying their kid's really amazing, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. How have you learned over the years? How do you deal with the difficult parents?
Coffee. Right, being honest, as I say, I'm going to probably upset parents here, and I'm probably going to upset coaches as well. Right, my main word is humble. Obviously, I've done everything in grassroots football. I've coached, been a manager, obviously, as you said, the biggest grassroots club in UK, possibly Europe. Being a referee and stuff like that. And I've had 10-year-old kids. The second I wear an Everton kit, my Everton trainer go, "Oh, Col. I've changed that to a referee's kit." And the same kid's giving me loads of stick because I'm wearing that. So it's life. It's how you deal with it, as a person. My main humility, it's humble. You have to be humble. Don't get me wrong. I'm the most probably humble person in the world, but I'm also very firm. We've had examples of parents running on the pitch and screaming at a referee or threatening a referee. See you later. Ta-ra. "Oh, I've had a bad day." I said, "Okay, what's that line?" "So, sorry, I've just murdered someone. Has that a bad day? Don't worry about it." "No, see you later. Ta-ra." We've got a couple of instances now in the club where parents are not getting on with the coach. And I said, "Okay." I said, "What are we going to..." "Yeah, but..." And the worst thing about my job is the emails. So I get emails from both sides. He done this. And the one thing you miss in all of this is the child. So how do we deal with it? We deal with it with communication too. And there's what I've found over the years is always two sides. Now, not every coach is right too. And there is too. And how do I deal with that? How do I deal with my 440 coaches? How do I deal with the Saturday afternoons and Sunday afternoons? Because obviously the matches are on Saturday morning, Sunday morning. I hate my phone on the Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon because it just pings. And the one thing I do say to everyone, give yourself 24 hours. Because football is a passionate sport. You see it. Like I'm the worst when I watch Everton, because Everton have been crap for years. When I watch Everton, God and all that. The only time we're ever good is when we play Arsenal. Every time. But every time you go to the match, you scream and shout and all that. And you've got to realise that's not just the same for watching professional football. And the worst shout in the world is when something's going, "Oh, it's only kids' footy." No, it's not. It's how you deal with yourselves and all that. And the referee will make mistakes. The parent will make mistakes, and the coach will make mistakes too. I've had my lad Curtis, who I was dead fortunate, play football, helped me volunteer with Woolton, gone through, all my children have gone through Woolton, and started refereeing. And my mate, my old mate, used to play for Mossley Hill, coach Mossley Hill. He was just turned 14. He done an under-10s match, and he didn't realise it was my son, and he berated them. And I sat in the car, and then I got out at half time, and he went, "All right, Colin." I went, all right, Michael, you okay? And I went, "What are you doing?" He went, "All I've seen is your arm fella going like that to the referee and all that. Yeah, he's crap though, he's crap." I said, "It's his first day." And to be fair, it was his first match, and I didn't realise it was your son. Oh, I didn't realise. Sod off. Not a chance. I said, "Do us a favour, if you can't control yourself, I don't mind the shouting and the screaming, but you're saying he's crap." And then me being me, I just said, "Who's your lad?" He was there. I said, "He's made 7 mistakes. He's absolutely awful at footy." "You can't say that." He said, "You just said that to my son." And Curtis was a great footy player. Brilliant. But he wanted to earn money like all 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old boys and girls want to. So parents, going back to your thing, how do you deal with them? Anything we've got a line threshold. I tell coaches, anything that you can't handle, come to us. We're there, we're their sponge, and sometimes I can say a couple of words and then they're fine, they get on with it. Sometimes they're more severe, they end up going to they end up going to the committee, and then the committee, if it goes severe, they go to the FA. But that's how we deal with it. There is certain parents that just won't take no for an answer. I'm sorry, there you go. See, this might be the club for you. See you later. And I always end up looking to the kids' eyes. The kid's done nothing wrong. I want to get that kid into another team, to another club. But I always say, and I done it. You start living your life through your child's eyes, and you want your child to win. You want your child, but what are they winning? If you keep telling them, do this, I've heard so many Beatles songs playing, get back and do, and all this type of what's the name, and I said, let the coach, because he's going to learn, especially when you're 6, 7 and 8. If you're 13, 14, 15, you're still screaming, you're still shouting at the lines, and you're still shouting at the coach and all that. You shouldn't be round it, and you know you shouldn't be round it. But you know yourself, you get parents like that all the time. We've got roughly under 20,000 parents, probably at Woolton. But 19,976 are brilliant. But you deal with the others, don't you?
That's
with
crazy.
Me,
20,000 parents.
Yeah,
what a ball like. What a ball like.
I do. I try and do a bonus ball. I don't get none of them. I do. But it's like when I'm part of the committee of one of the leagues, Liverpool County Prem and the Merseyside Neighbourhood. That brings it all. The one thing people say about me, I'm very accessible. Now, obviously, I've got 2 phones. You know, one's a work phone. What's the name? And again, the wife goes mad. I say the worst thing in the world: Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon, because things go wrong. Saturday and Sunday morning, you know.
Go Cardless makes collecting payments simple with automatic direct debit. Membership fees come in on time every month without watching parents dig through their pockets only to find a crisp packet or race into the cash point while you wait in the rain. There's no more, I'll give it to you next week. You can just drop a link into your WhatsApp group and bingo, payments are sorted. It handles the admin too, automatically keeping track of who's paid, what's outstanding, and retrying any payments that didn't go through, helping your club keep a steady cash flow for pitch hire, kits and equipment. You can even pause or adjust payments when families need flexibility, keeping your club supportive and inclusive. Go Cardless takes care of the money so you can focus on running great sessions and growing your club.
Just from that parent's perspective, having a sponge, like you said, and an outlet, and communicating to all these parents, almost from day one, you're probably going to make a mistake, but here's an outlet, speak to us, come to us with any issues, is massively important, because the whole reason we started this podcast is we just kept making mistakes one after the other, and we just didn't understand why we were so invested in this thing, why it mattered so much, why we were acting like arseholes most of the time. But our outlet was just chatting to each other and realizing that, we're in the same boat here. And then we started this podcast, and you just get a flood of emails and messages saying they're in the same boat as you. It's amazing, because everyone's going to make these mistakes, but having that outlet, having that sponge, as you said, to almost offload before you offload on the pitch is so powerful. So that's something that's just needed so much in every club. But it's amazing that you've done that at such a scale, because that must be, your phone must be mental.
It's mad. How long have you been going, mate, Ben?
What are we now?
3 years. Well, it's coming up to 3 years.
Coming up to 3 years, yeah.
Obviously, every time you do a podcast, every time you go out and go, right, okay, I get this perspective, and it's like me having meetings, you get little bits, you get little tangible little information, go, you know what, that's boss, I'll do that. And as I say, maybe out of this one, you might get the sponge, or you might get anything you want to get, to be fair. And you guys are probably at the hub of everything, you know what I mean? Because anyone that does podcasts, which I've been on a few, they always get something out of it, even if it's, I always try and turn a negative into a positive. If it's done in the correct manner, as long as you're not, I don't know, throwing out anti this and anti that, you know what I mean? It's me lifeblood's grassroots football. You can see it in the way you conduct yourselves. It's grassroots. It's football. Not just grassroots. It's footy, innit? It's a universal language. However, but you do get the bads with it as well.
Yeah, but I think the best part of doing this is it sounds so holier than thou, and as if we kind of felt like we was on some crusade, because we weren't. We did it for selfish reasons at the beginning, which was to help ourselves and to get better. But when you bring people along the way, and it's a load of coaches that are connected with what we do because we're honest and relatable. Like for today, like for example, today, you might disagree with this, Colin, and that's fine. Like I don't, I don't have a problem with confrontation or disagreement as long as it's kind of done in the right way. But like we put out that we do top goal scorer at our team. I can't even look at the comments because we are definitely getting absolutely annihilated. And we just tell it. We say our experience as it happens. We've made our own boys cry because we've shouted at them. We talk about that. If we did anything wrong, we are completely honest, and all we try to do is learn from it. And if we see where we were at the start to where we've got to, and how we've helped other people, at least we hope they have, is that one is just to be honest so that people can connect with you and then say, look, we learned from this, we tried this, it worked for us, it helped, but you know what, out of 4 weeks we might be good for 3, and then week 4 we mess up again, and mainly with our own sons, and we get annoyed and we shout them, and not during the game, it would be after, and then we'd be like, yeah, we messed up this week, but we go again next week. And just giving people that space to express that has been probably the best part of doing this podcast.
Yeah, 100%, Ben. You know, I see a few shouts from coaches, and they go, "I'm here. I'm giving up my time, boys. Girls, you give it 100%. Just give me 100%. I don't care if you mess up. I don't care if you what's name." And then, but I do get some coaches that are Jose Mourinho's, and I can't even say Jurgen Klopp. It does me head in. But of Mikel Arteta's and stuff like that. But it's giving up their time.
One question I was really keen to ask you about, because again, I know you would have dealt with it so many times, and it's probably the question we get the most, sent in the most. Unquestionably, every week we will get multiple questions on this. Mixed ability. How do you solve the issues that come with coaching a mixed ability team? Now, we don't necessarily have that. We don't have one. So we kind of, our advice is only what theoretical. It's not anecdotal. We haven't experienced it. But you got the one side, the kids, the parents of the weaker kids, they want to keep them in the team. They want fair game time. And then you've got the parents of the kids with the stronger players who don't necessarily want fair game time. They want what's best for their kid. They want to push them, etc. And then you've got the poor sod in the middle, who's the coach, trying to deal with both. How have you dealt with that over the years?
The internally. So I've changed my tact over the years. I've gone with listens. Again, I'm not here to go, right, I've done this for 30 odd years. It's my way or the highway. It's not like that. I've listened to people. Last 4 to 5 years, I've changed my tact. I used to have when I say going from reception, everyone comes, little boy, little girl over reception. Go to Camp Hill first and foremost, and then used to get about 100, 120 kids. I used to identify the best 2 from each and put them in different teams. This was 10 years ago, 10 or 12 years ago when we first started internally. Put 2 of the best in each team, and then let the internal run that. Now, what I found was the second they got to under 8s and going to external under 9s, once them better so-called kids, didn't turn up, the others didn't get a touch of the ball. The other non-advanced kids didn't get a touch of the ball. They were winning. They were made up. Parents are made up. But their little boy, little girl only got 1 touch of the ball for 40 minutes. And I went, well, how have you progressed? So I changed tact a little bit. So at under 5s, under 6s, identified them, got the best kids at that time, put them in a team, let them get on with it. Now, if I got more than 6 or 7, I made 2 teams, I made 3 teams, whatever that geographical age group was. The rest of the boys and girls, which again, they're no less or more than the ones who are good players. Show me a kid at 6, I'll show you a kid at 10, totally different. We put them in the internally, give them 2 years, 3 years to develop. That team who are the superstar team, I put them in an external league straight away at under sixes. Let them get on with the journey. I've always found by the time they're under nines, under tens, the team that are not, they level off. And this is where Woolton comes into his own. By the time everyone is playing 11-side football from under 13s, under 14s next year, because of the future fit, which is another story, burns my head out. The 3v3 and all that crap. Too. Don't get me wrong, I love 3v3 in training, but the match play, oh no, don't. But anyway, when they get to under 13s, with all these academies and all this, there's no money in 11-a-side football because of bigger pitches and all that. That's where Woolton, the likes of Mossley Hill, the likes of Marshalls in our area, coming to our own. You know, we've been here for years, and we let the kids play footy still, where the likes of certain academies and all that, they're not interested because there's no money to be made, because their little Johnny, their little what's name, haven't got into academies. I've seen it so many times, posted over social media. You look at our social media and all that. We never probably mention once or twice that we've got this kid signed, or this kid signed at under nines for Everton or Liverpool or Wigan or whoever it is. But just don't do it. Why are they doing it? To bring someone else in to pay stupid money to look at what's name. If a kid's good, I'll take him into Everton. I'll see, and then obviously people above me will go, yeah, brilliant. People signed. I've got lads there. I've got lads, I say Izzy there. I've got lads there who were 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, all from Woolton, all brought in, all been signed, got contracts and stuff like that. But it's not about that. It's about how do you actually get the kid from 6, who is absolutely awful, to play footy till he's 16. That's it. And as you said, the coach's job then, our job as facilitators and all that, is to educate that coach going, right, you can give our internal league, you can give everyone the same game time, 20 minutes each or 30 minutes each, whatever it is. But once you go to external leagues under 10s, 11s, show it on the pitch. Show it in training too. I always go for an analogy with parents going, right, try and do a school analogy. If your boy or your girl is absolutely brilliant at maths at 6 years old, where do you put him? The teacher puts him on the top table. When he's 9, if he's still on that top table, what'll happen to him? He'll just go, because he just doesn't understand it. Now and sometimes parents have got to trust. We always say, yeah, but he pays the same subs as him. That's all his mates. And I said, before you come to footy, before you come to a Woolton or a Mossley Hill and all that, how did you start? Did you have any mates? And I said, I tell you what, if you go into another team in 10 minutes' time, he'll have a whole new set of mates. And that's what parents just don't understand. You know, don't get me wrong, there is times where the parent or the child has been wronged, and that's where we'll step in. But it's usually the coach. I always get it. The coach is not giving me enough game time. Colin, he's absolute pain in the arse. He's done this. He's what's the name of him? And I always go, okay, has he got the same hour in training as the other lad who's playing every week? Well, yeah. I said, okay. So how are you gonna address that? So it's another life skill. So if you were coming to an exam at 16 and your lad or your girl wasn't that good at English, what would you do going to GCSEs? You'd find them possibly a tutor, or you'd probably do some more homework with them, or you'd ask the teacher for more homework. Get with footy. Go to the park with your lad. Go to the park with your girl. Play footy yourself with them. I always say, do you do stuff out of that hour? You can't make a Lionel Messi in that hour you do train on a Tuesday night. You know, sometimes tell the coach to I can't remember, I can swear on this.
I was like, go for it.
You can tell that coach in your own mind, fuck you, you know, I'm going to show you. And the best thing in the world is getting that kid when he's 9 or 10, when he's 11 or 12 going, wow, look at him, he's come on. And he's the first one on your team sheet. You know, that's what it is. But you've got that hour on a Tuesday morning or Tuesday night or a Wednesday night that you train. That mightn't be enough for you. That might be enough for your kid. You know, I said before, our kids, who's my eldest, who's 30 now, brilliant at football, absolutely amazing. Tell a story all the time, absolutely amazing. And then I thought, I'm the best dad in the world. academic. He's boss of footy. I'm a boss dad, Scouser from Liverpool, footy. And then my other lad, and then my other lad come. I read, right, come on, footy. Don't want to do football, Dad. I said, okay. So what do you want to do? I want to sing and dance. And I'm going, oh, for God's sake, what the fuck? I said, okay, sound. And he embraced it, though. I embraced it. I went, right, okay. He's still singing now. He does weddings and all that, even though he's a civil engineer. But he still does weddings over weekends. So he pursued his heart. But then at 10 years old, what did he say to me? Dad, I want a footy team. And I'm going, Alex, you haven't kicked a ball in your life. And I'm going, oh God. And this is where I met Chris Leahy, who said before about he runs our babies academy and stuff like that. And I went, right, okay. Right, you know it's going to be hard work. So we got this little team together, 10 years old, 11 years old. Got beat 24-25-0 every match and all that. And I said, Al, so yeah, Al, he's left-footed like me. I said, do us a favour, go left back. He ended up running on the other pitch. And I'm going, and everyone's looking at me going, Colin, big manager, big coach, Carl works at Everton, works at Woolton, Grassroots, been round it. And me lads running on the other pitch. And I'm going, right, okay, I've got to change this. So for every day after school, come on, let's go to park. And I taught him humility. Come on, this is what you got to do. And at the end of 4 or 5 months, he ran through brick walls, got the club managers player of the year, which the manager was Chris Leahy. And he went, he does things simple because that's all I've done. I got him, play out from the back, pass it forwards, do nothing else. You're like a Gary Neville, aren't you? You know, no one wants to be a Gary Neville, do they? As our friend Mr. Carragher says. But again, he done things that simple. And in the end, he loved it. He lasted 2 or 3 years in footy and then ended up going back to singing and dancing. But this is what I'm trying to say to parents. If it's not going well for your son or your daughter, get them extra tuition. And it doesn't have to be one-to-one shite, paying 50, 60, 70 pounds. Go yourself, do the hard yards in the park, in the yard, in your back garden or your backyard, whatever you want to do, and do it. Because you would do it if a head teacher went, right, your little son's going to Harvard or your son, what would you do? You get them extra tuition, or you do it yourself, you learn, and that's it. That's Grassroots footy in a nutshell, really.
Quick one for the coaches and volunteers listening. If you're sorting kits for a Grassroots team, you'll know the pain. It's never as simple as it should be. That's exactly why Discount Football Kits exists. They supply quality football kits at prices that actually work for Grassroots clubs. No nonsense, no hard sell, just reliable teamwear that turns up on time and looks the part on match day. From full team kits to training wear for growing squads, everything's built to make your life easier. If you're tired of overpaying or overthinking kits, head to discountfootballkits.com and get your team sorted today. Now we got 2 last questions before we go. After all these years of experience, all the interactions you've had, all the problems you've solved, all the fun you've had, what is the one thing that you wish you'd known when you first got started that you know now?
Oh God. Oof. Digging hell, Ben, that's a loaded question, eh? Right, I probably, at the start of my career, it is a career, my Grassroots career, listen to people that know, listen to people that been round it and all that, taking bits of stock of it. The likes of me, when I first walked, likes of Kenny Saunders, being the lad who was probably my mentor, the guy called Sid Benson, who used to work as a scout for Everton, absolutely lovely, passed away now, Sid. I think he discovered Ross Barkley. Listening to people and not thinking your way is the right way. You know, no, I'm going to do it my way and stuff like that. And the FA getting rid of the FA level 1 absolutely pissed me off. It set the coaches back years. Looking at the screen going, yeah, you go, £160, there you go. This is me mad FA thing now. £160, look on the screen going, there you go, you got a level 1 now. What the fuck did they get? What are they getting out of it? What are these parents, coaches getting out of it? Do the 6 or 7 week course, face to face and all that. And I have seen it. I have seen a coach changed from being, no, I just want my lads to win. After 7 weeks going, do you know what? It's not about that. And that's what's in. And they learn them how to control parents. They learn how to control the kids. They learn how to control the environment that they're in, whatever that is. And that's what I would, me going back from when I first started, is probably humility. That's what I do to, that's probably the answer I'd say.
Humility and listening, and mainly listening to this podcast is what I heard there, Colin.
Yeah. Well, listening, as I say it too, I've done a bit of background about you guys and all that, and I've had a couple of looks and all that, and some of you right at the start, oh my God, if you could put yourself in day one like you guys, to now, you're totally different. Obviously, I seen you guys from when you done your first podcast. I've had a little look, and you're totally different, aren't you?
Oh yeah. Oh, massively. It's
Look,
funny, actually.
I had no hair at the start, and I still got no fucking hair. So.
You actually look like my son. You know,
He's a good-looking bloke, then. What a handsome geezer.
Yeah. Here you go. Let's see. Oh, there he is on the.
Look at
see
him.
him?
Have a look. Oh no!
He's much better looking than Ben.
No.
Oh,
Your
God.
son's gonna be really pissed off with that.
He's bad. Listen, Can I give a couple of shouts out here as well, because without where we are and stuff like that. So the likes of I'll say, spoke briefly about Lee Kirby. Lee Kirby and his dad and his mum done discount football kits. We introduced us with that, with part of Nike program. There's me Nike stuff and all that. And we couldn't have got where we can without them. Now what they do behind the scenes, people think, oh my God, they make loads of money and all that. Hell, they don't. And if they do, good luck to them. That their guys work so tirelessly to make grassroots football accessible for everyone. Now every kid wants to wear that kit, the new kits and stuff like that. And years ago, they think, oh my God, I can't afford a Nike kit. I might as well go with other brands and stuff like that, which I'm not going to name. But again, we done it. We done different certain brands and stuff like that. But to go with a certain brand, but to be part of us, I say we couldn't have got where we are today without them. So a big shout out to Lee and a big shout out to Vasey Limited, because our journey wouldn't be the same without them.
I'm not going to lie, Colin. As much as I've taken loads from this conversation, it's been amazing. The whole time I've been thinking, all of those teams, how the fuck do you organise all the kits? How do you organise all the equipment? How do you do that on such a big scale? So what you're saying though is Discount Football Kids, VZ, Lee and the team have been a massive help, right?
100%. As I say, we couldn't do this without volunteers. The guy called Keith Glover, who's our kit manager. People just come and go, I want to do this, I want to do that. He's our accountant, he's our kit manager. We have our trial, let's say 2-5-1 teams. We have like 6 colour kits. And then you'd always get that rogue one and go, and you'd always find them on a Sunday morning out back in Tubrick or wherever it is, going, hang on, that's not our top. And to be fair, old friend of mine, I'm gonna name drop someone now. So an old friend of mine, 2 guys, a guy called Steve Gillespie and a guy called Anthony Barry, used to play for Woolton. Now, do you know them at all?
Don't.
No.
Oh, you're not English people. Anthony Barry's the assistant England manager to Thomas Tuchel.
Oh,
really? Yeah, Anthony Barry. Yeah.
Hey,
that one.
Listen,
that one.
I thought Scousers hated England anyway.
Oh, come on! You call yourselves football people, for fuck's sake! Come on, lads.
Well, don't worry, Colin. We'll edit that bit out. Oh yeah, I know him. Yeah, big.
Yeah, I know it.
Assistant manager to England. Yeah.
Yeah, and a guy called Steve Gillespie used to play for Liverpool, stuff like that.
I know Steve Gillespie. Yeah, he was a defender.
Yeah.
I know Steve Gillespie was a defender.
Yeah, so Gilly was great. And they used to play for Woolton Old Boys, and Gilly used to say to me, he went, listen, it's a privilege to play for Woolton. Why does anyone want to change the kit? And me, if you want to change your colour of your kit and look different and all that, fuck off somewhere else. See you later. There's millions of clubs, and that's where I do, and that's the hardship. And we say, yeah, you can wear any training kit you want, you can wear any sort of organisation you want, stuff like that, but when you're representing Woolton, you wear your Nike Woolton kit, the six colour kits we've got. That's what we do. You know, you're privileged to wear Woolton. Wear that on your badge. Love it. You know, it's there's a lot of people. There's a lot of you say before about who's gone through and all that. I forgot Anthony Barry and I say Gilly used to play for Woolton. So there's two superstars who are superstars off the field as well as on the field.
Well, Colin, I absolutely loved that chat. I knew you were going to be good. Scousers never let you down. So absolutely loved that, enjoyed it. And now I'm pumped up for training tomorrow. So you've re-energized me, even though we're winding down. I'm re-energized. So I appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks so much. Thanks for having me on, guys. And as I say, good luck in your future. I hope your kids keep playing football and stuff like that, because as I say, this city, this country is built on grassroots football.
Love it. So for the coaches listening today, I hope your big takeaway is that development isn't about complex drills or the league table, it's about the environment. If the biggest grassroots club in England can maintain a community feel and a focus on the individual child, then we can all do it with our single squads on a Sunday morning. And for the parents, take a breath. Whether your child is playing in a professional academy or with their mates in a grassroots team, the goal is the same: to foster a love for the game that lasts a lifetime. So let's not lose sight of the big picture. We want them to be a better player, sure, but we want them to be better people more. Don't get too carried away with the score lines, the trophies, or the sideline stress, because at the end of the day, it's only kids football. If you enjoyed the podcast, please take 2 seconds to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss future episodes. And if you want to check out our previous episodes, just click here.